My best friend called me crying and begged, "Lend me $5,000, you know I'd do the same for you." When I hesitated, she snapped, "If you were a real friend, you'd give it without question." I took a deep breath, pulled up our chat history, and said, "Funny, because the last 5 times I helped you, you magically forgot to pay me back." I never thought I'd be the one writing one of these. I always thought I had a good read on people. I'm careful. I don't take risks with money or friends. I work hard, I keep to myself, and I take care of my people when they need it. But I was wrong. So wrong. I'm 38, living in Grove City, Ohio, just outside Columbus. I've been a dental assistant for over 10 years. Not rich, not poor. I pay my bills. I don't shop fancy. I save when I can. I've never taken a vacation outside the Midwest. That's the kind of life I live. And for most of it, Alyssa was my best friend. We met in high school. She was the girl who got voted most likely to light something on fire, and honestly, it wasn't far off. Loud, messy, always in some kind of drama. Guys were always chasing her. She had that kind of energy people either loved or hated. I was the opposite. Quiet. Worked after school at the local grocery store. Stayed out of trouble. Somehow we clicked. Maybe because I didn't judge her. Maybe because she liked having someone who'd listen. We stayed close after graduation. Even when she moved around, first to Cincinnati, then Cleveland, then back here, we kept in touch. And every time her life fell apart, she called me. I should have seen it years ago. It started small. She was behind on a bill. Needed $80. Said she'd pay me back on Friday. She didn't. Then it was $150 for rent. Then $300 because her car broke down. Every time, there was a promise. Every time, I let it go. I kept track for a while. I even had a note on my phone called Alyssa IOUs. At one point, it was over $1,200. Then I deleted it. I figured if I had to keep track, maybe I wasn't being a real friend. But that Tuesday night was different. It was late. I'd just finished a long shift. My back hurt, my feet were swollen, and I was microwaving some leftover chili when the phone rang. I almost didn't answer. I saw her name and sighed. But I picked up. She was crying. Like, hysterical. Said her boyfriend, some guy named Trey I never liked, kicked her out. Threw her stuff on the lawn. Said she had no one else to call. She'd found a place she could move into that weekend, but she needed $5,000 for first, last, and deposit. Said she had a new job starting next week. She could pay me back by the end of the month. Then she said it. "Jess, please. You know I'd do the same for you." And for a second, I almost believed it. I opened my banking app. I started checking my savings. I had enough. It would wipe me out, but I had it. I could technically give it to her. Then something in me paused. I asked quietly, LYSS, "What about the money from last time?" The silence was instant. Then her voice changed. "Are you kidding me right now?" she snapped. "Jess, seriously? You're gonna throw old stuff in my face right now? I'm telling you I'm homeless and you're counting pennies." I told her I wasn't trying to be mean. I just needed to be sure. That's when she lost it. "You're unbelievable," she spat. "If you were a real friend, you'd give it without question. I wouldn't even ask questions if you needed me." I stood there, my phone in one hand, bowl of chili in the other, just staring into the sink. Something clicked in me. I set the bowl down, walked into the living room, sat on the couch, and pulled up our chat history. I scrolled through message after message. Every promise. Every "I swear I'll pay you back." Every time I came through and she didn't. So I said it. "Funny," I told her, "because I just looked through our messages. And you never paid me back. Not once. Not for the $300. Not the $200, not even the $50 when you said you couldn't afford diapers. You magically forgot every single time." The line went dead quiet. Then I heard a deep sigh. She mumbled something like, "Wow," and hung up. That was 3 weeks ago. No apology. No follow-up. Nothing. And now I'm sitting here wondering how many years of friendship were just me being used. After that call, I thought maybe she'd come to her senses. Maybe she'd text me the next day, embarrassed, apologizing for snapping. I even left my ringer on, just in case. But the silence stayed, and the more it dragged on, the more I started to feel something I hadn't felt toward her before. Anger. Not sadness. Not disappointment. Anger. Because I started replaying everything. Every late-night call, every frantic text, every time I dropped what I was doing to show up for her. And for what? To be made to feel like I was the bad friend? A week went by, then another. And that's when it got worse. I was at work, eating lunch in the break room, when my coworker Tara walked in holding her phone. She gave me this weird look and said, "Hey Jess, isn't this your friend?" I looked over and saw Alyssa's face on her screen on Facebook. She had posted a long rant. No names, but I knew it was about me. It started with, "Nothing hurts more than realizing someone you thought was your best friend turns out to be a fake bitch who kicks you when you're down." She went on about how she was homeless, broke, and abandoned by the one person who always claimed to be there no matter what. The comments were full of sympathy. People writing things like, "You deserve better," and "Screw that selfish friend." I stared at the screen, feeling my throat tighten. She hadn't blocked me. She wanted me to see it. She wanted everyone to see it. Later that night, I messaged her. Just one line. "Guess I'm the villain now?" She replied 2 minutes later. "If the shoe fits." That's when I stopped trying to play nice. I took screenshots. Every text she'd ever sent me asking for money, help, rides. Every promise to pay me back. I didn't post them. I wasn't about to turn it into a Facebook war. But I saved them. Just in case. Then I started hearing from mutual friends. Quiet messages. Things like, "Hey, I saw what Alyssa posted. Is everything okay?" And when I told them my side, almost every single one admitted they'd lent her money at some point. Some said they never saw a dime back. One friend, Sarah, said Alyssa once borrowed her car and came back 2 days later reeking of weed and with a dent in the bumper. That's when something shifted in me. This wasn't just me. She'd done this to a lot of people. And we all let it slide because we didn't want to be mean. Because she cried or screamed or guilted us into silence. I made a group chat. I added every mutual friend I still had a good relationship with. I called it the Alyssa wake-up call. At first, no one said much. But then one by one, they started speaking up. And what came out made me sick. Someone said she used their credit card without asking and racked up $600. Another said she crashed on their couch for a week and ended up staying 3 months, never paying rent or buying groceries. One friend admitted Alyssa stole her pills, prescribed medication, and sold them. She wasn't just careless. She was toxic, manipulative, dangerous. I sat back on my couch that night and realized Alyssa hadn't changed. I wasn't that 18-year-old girl anymore who thought being loyal meant being walked on. I had boundaries now. I had self-respect. But I also had a decision to make. Because if I wanted to really be done with her, I could just cut her off. Quietly. Block her. Move on. Or I could finally show her what it felt like to be exposed. I didn't decide right away. At first, I told myself I didn't need to stoop to her level. That the group chat was enough. That people finally seeing her for who she was should have been satisfying. But it wasn't. Because a week later, my boss pulled me into his office. He shut the door and said, "Jess, something strange came up. It's probably nothing, but we had someone call the clinic anonymously. Said you were stealing meds." My heart dropped. I just stared at him. "What?" He nodded, looking uncomfortable. "We don't believe it. Your record is clean." But we had to check the logs, just in case. I felt sick. Humiliated. I knew it was her. No one else in my life would do something like that. No one else would know exactly how to hit where it hurt most. The logs, of course, cleared me. I don't even have access to controlled substances at my station. My boss was kind about it, said he knew it was probably someone with a grudge. But the fact that someone tried to screw with my job? That flipped the switch. She was willing to burn my life down because I didn't give her $5,000. Because I finally said no. So I made my move. I didn't post the screenshots publicly. That would have been too easy. Instead, I sent a private message, one by one, to the people who'd commented on her post defending her. Mutual friends, her sister, her cousin, her old roommate. Every single one of them got a neatly organized folder of screenshots labeled by date. I didn't say much, just thought you should have the full story. Take care. Then I sent one more. To her new landlord. See, thanks to the group chat, I found out where she moved. One of the girls in the chat, Emily, worked for a property management company. Small world. Emily did some digging and told me Alyssa had used her cousin's name and info to fake her application. She had an eviction on her record and knew she wouldn't get approved otherwise. I didn't feel guilty reporting it. Because 2 days later, Alyssa called me again. Not crying this time. She was screaming. You had no right. You ruined my life. I stayed quiet for a second, then said, you ruined it all on your own. I just showed people the truth. She hurled every insult she could at me. Called me a bitch. A snake. A jealous loser who never had a real man or real problems. She said she hoped I'd lose my job. That I'd die alone. Then she said something that chilled me. You think this is over? You don't know me. You have no idea what I'm capable of. I hung up. My hands were shaking. I blocked her number. I checked my locks that night twice. But deep down, I knew something was coming. That wasn't the last call I'd get. Alyssa doesn't let go. She waits. She plans. And I had just made myself her new obsession. After that call, I started watching my back. I changed my passwords. I got a camera for my porch. I told my manager what happened, just in case more fake calls came in. I even warned my neighbor to keep an eye out for anything strange. And for a while, nothing happened. But then, one Saturday morning, my bank froze my account. When I called, they told me someone had tried to use my info to open a credit card. Luckily, it triggered fraud alerts. Nothing went through. But it shook me. It had to be her. I filed a police report. I didn't have hard proof, but I documented everything, screenshots, the call, the timing. The officer told me it would be tough to trace unless she slipped up. 2 weeks later, she did. I got an email from a collections agency. They were trying to recover a $3,000 balance from a Macy's credit card I never opened. Attached was the billing address. It was the same address Emily had given me. The one Alyssa had used to fake her lease. I went to the police again. This time, I brought printouts. I showed them how she had my old address saved from years ago, how we'd fallen out, how she'd threatened me, and now this. They took it seriously. Turns out, there was more. She'd tried to open 3 other cards. Used my name and social. They were able to trace the IP addresses to her building. They got a warrant. I didn't hear from her again until the court date. She didn't look like herself. She looked tired, beaten down. Not the fiery, dramatic Alyssa I knew. Her public defender tried to argue that someone else must have used my info. That it was a misunderstanding. But they had the evidence. They had her laptop, her search history, everything. She got convicted of identity theft and fraud. They gave her 2 years probation, 6 months in county jail, and ordered her to pay restitution. Not to me, because I didn't lose actual money, but to the credit companies. It was over. At least legally. But here's where I need to be honest with myself. I didn't have to go as far as I did. Yes, she started it. She lied. She used me. She tried to ruin me. But I enjoyed taking her down. I wanted her to hurt. I wanted her to feel alone, humiliated, trapped. And that scares me. Because I'm not that person. At least I didn't think I was. But when someone pushes you far enough, when they take from you over and over and then spit in your face, it changes something. And I let it. I didn't just defend myself. I destroyed her. Now, when people ask about Alyssa, I say the same thing every time. She burned a lot of bridges. I just made sure she couldn't swim. But late at night, when it's quiet, I still wonder what part of me she dragged down with her. Because revenge doesn't just hurt the person you aim it at. Sometimes it leaves a mark on you too.